David E. Taylor is, it looks like, guys, he's going to go into hiding, man. He can't even show his face. He's got all these people said he was going to do this great crusade, right, David? And once again, a big flop. Hang on, let me readjust here. Sorry about that. David flops on his big crusade that he said he's going to do here, right? He's got Bishop George Scott coming out and all this other crap, and now he's got some cats coming out like preaching right now. Guys, we're possibly seeing the house of cards falling right now. This is what this could possibly be, okay? The fact that we don't see David, the fact that he has to keep lying, keep covering his lies, everything. His lies have compounded so big. Smash that like, yo, when you get in here. His lies have compounded so much that it's like almost at this point he can't even keep up with his own lies anymore. It sucks. I mean, for him it does. I mean, he's coming out saying Convoy of Miracles, Arena Crusade, all this other bullshit, right? Can't show his face, right? Does a bullshit recording of what David says he's gonna. It's the greatest miracle crusade of the year. Comes out for what, fucking 10, 15 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, the most? And looks like shit the whole time, right? And if anybody has tuned into what they're doing right now, David, I am watching you, okay? Let's see what these idiots are doing.
And of course, we have our Houston family there. It's amazing.
This is what they're doing.
Pastor, I'm so excited. I know this night is going to be on fire.
Yes, come on.
This is going to be on fire, everybody. Everything's going to be on fire tonight.
Literally from all over the world. If we played every single one of them, we'd be here for days.
So David says he's got millions of followers, right? Got 122 on YouTube, one of them being me. A good portion of those are scrub accounts, okay? You guys, again, I was reading your comments, man, and you guys are spot on. David's hurt too many people. This has got to stop. He is definitely out of control, man. Tom Bombadil. This is why I do this. And people think I'm fucking crazy, right? But everybody's saying, oh, he needs to be in jail. You're fucking, dude, I am with you guys 100%. Everybody who thinks this asshole needs to be in jail, dude, this is why I'm here. I support that decision and your guys' opinion on that 100%, but the way it has to be done is legally, guys. Can't just go fucking do shit to him and say, oh, throw him in jail. It's what the law allows, okay? It's what the law will allow with this bullshit. But, okay, here's what the law doesn't allow. Money laundering, human trafficking, fucking sex, drugs inside a fucking religious institution. That is what, okay, the law does not allow. Definitely doesn't allow money laundering and human trafficking. That's for fucking sure. It doesn't allow you to fucking scam people through Facebook, okay? Digitally scamming people, okay? That's what it doesn't allow, okay? A lot of shit. There's a lot of digital footprints being left within this cult. David's transferring money in and out of accounts, you know? Yep, I sure do, Osmond Bramble. I sure do, my man. I remember those words 100%, dude. I remember those words 100%. Yep. I'm thinking, Osmond, that maybe God is starting to demise David E. Taylor. He looks like shit, Osmond, right? Osmond, looking from the outside in, right? He looks like ass, right? You look at the guy and he just likes a complete shitstorm fucking ran over him, pretty much. His health is very poor, okay? No doubt he's got some sort of sickness going on there. He does. He's got some sort of sickness going on there. It's gonna be like some kind of autoimmune sickness, you know. He's gonna have some kind of immunity issues going on. Definitely with this high cholesterol and no doubt he's got diabetes for sure. I mean, look at the guy. No weight control, no diet control, just on a fucking eating rampage. Okay. So for all of David E. Taylor's cronies that are in here not watching or watching this, hit that like or dislike. Tonight we're going to talk about how David is pretty much is going into hiding. Happy David Taylor Day, everyone. Well, Osmond Bramble, if you look at the last couple years prior to this, you kind of notice his health decline real steadily. And here's the thing. That's good, Tom. That's what we like to hear, man. That's what we like to hear, man. Success stories. Said my life has been fucking badass after I left JMMI. Fuck yeah. And hey, Tom, hey, it's not JMMI anymore. That tax ID number has been revoked, okay? Nope. Not JMMI anymore. Michael H. Long, yeah, I think definitely that maybe Michelle is managing him or George. George is managing him. There's a recording of Michelle on, huh? Let's see. Oh, this is an old one. Look at this. Look. Yeah.
You know what he says about you, it's just like we
Here's the
cannot,
concubine number one,
we just
everybody.
cannot revere and
Concubine
honor
number
you
one,
enough.
Michelle Brannon.
And I frankly don't care who says.
I don't
you know,
care who
what they
says
say
what about Apostle
oh,
Taylor.
You know, like Kathleen said, who cares what they say?
Who cares what they
We
say?
don't honor you enough.
Who cares
I
what
don't
they
care
say
what
about
happens.
Apostle
I would
Taylor?
continue
We
to honor you,
don't.
and I don't honor you enough. I don't revere you enough. But I'm going to find new ways to honor you.
I'm
new
gonna
ways
find
to
new
reverence
ways to
you.
honor Apostle
I don't
Taylor.
care
He's
who
just
is
a
like,
magnificent.
you are my best friend. You have, take care and concern over my soul and over the person, my character, my being everything. And nobody else cares about that, but you've cared about that.
But you cared about that.
About my kids.
You cared about my kids, and you've taken all my money from me and just fucked my life over completely as much as you can.
The family
I'm gonna stay here and and continue to get fucked over.
Don't appreciate what you have done for their kids.
Everybody,
They have not honored you
this is what
and reverenced you for what you deserve.
this is what brainwashing into a cult looks like. This woman left her family for this piece of shit, man.
Such beautiful people that you have.
You're beautiful people, you're so beautiful.
Working with that you're processing, and it's all because of your love and your
Lies.
pursuit for Jesus. And I thank you, Apostle, that you are the way you
Sunk
are.
cost fallacy. Thank you, Tom. Yeah.
For you being
Thank you, Tom. You're absolutely right. Sunk cost fallacy.
and on behalf of me and my family.
Big time. Big time. Sunk cost fallacy. Streisand effect. What else is there? There's another syndrome. Probably Stockholm syndrome kind of going on there. He fucking looks like a soup sandwich, doesn't he, Chris Thorpe? He looks like a sack of shit. I mean, he is a sack of shit, in my opinion. But he for real looks like shit, you guys. Hey, on the phone line is open, too. 314-492-3356. You want to call in and talk, and you want to talk shit to me, that's fine. Line's open. Don't send death threats. No racism. No talking about genitalia in reference to men or women. But you can cuss. Don't. No. Again, phone line's open if you all want to talk. Yeah, bang your head against the wall to fucking exercise her. Yep. Yeah, Chin Kim for being a virgin. Yeah. David, that's some fucked up shit, man. Okay, cool, Tom. I'll post the number. Anybody else wants to call him, but Tom's got first dibs. So Tom is an actual. You were in JMMI, okay? So that's cool. We're gonna get some first-hand accounts, which is really cool. We love first-hand accounts here because we're looking at everything here, Tom, and he just looks like shit, man. He looks like absolute shit. I'm glad you're gonna call in. Because the more people that call in, what we're doing is live journalism here, guys. This is people coming out from this place saying, yeah, this guy is full of shit. I saw all the tactics that went on. And we're out here looking at it I'm looking at it from an objective / logical, legal standpoint, right? Because these guys are David specifically right now is flying way under the radar. Well, not anymore. But he's been under the radar long enough that, a lot of people said, hey, why isn't this guy in jail? Well, nobody spoke up about him. We are now, right? I am. I file fraud against him. I will continue to do that. I do that every week. People want to be involved in that. I'm gonna redo these and update them into a PDF. And ProPublica. I can, Sebatarth. You know what, Sebatarth? I've put out emails and feelers to a lot of people in this, and you'd be surprised how many people contact me back, dude. And not just people, but real people, dude, like up here. You'd be surprised, man. I've made a lot of phone calls. I don't mention what I don't put that out here, what I've done. But I have ProPublica. It's an org too. Okay, .org. Fuck yeah. Those guys don't fuck around, dude. Okay. I'll get in touch with him, Sebatar. I'll make a phone call. Chuck Wood because George Scott. You got George Scott coming out now, doing all the preaching and shit. He's the next kind of charismatic one in there. George Scott, not Joseph, not Lisa Bruce. That's an old ass video. That's from last year. So any of David's followers that think that's actually live right now, it's bullshit. It's not live. But Chuck Wood, the fact that again that George Scott still is doing all the preaching, I would absolutely love to hear from somebody who's been on the inside too. We have that. Some of them just haven't put their voice out here on the channel. Some have, some haven't. But yeah, so Chuck going into hiding. He's got George Scott now coming out doing all the preaching. And George Scott's the one that he fucking yells more than David. That guy, George Scott, scares me worse than David, actually. He's a fucking sick looking bastard, man. And he's not a bishop, everybody. He's not a bishop. George Scott is not a bishop. He's a liar just like David. Anybody in David's cult who is now keeping on with it they definitely know that David is full of shit because all the content we put out, all the stuff we're talking about. They can't not say they didn't know that David was full of shit because jumping tax ID numbers, Sebatarth, you're absolutely right, dude. They got 4 fucking tax ID numbers, dude. But yep, David's gonna duck into hiding. For sure. For sure. He looks like shit, guys. He doesn't have the energy to come out and do what he's saying he wants to do. He doesn't. He does not. David is very ill. And it's not going to be good for him. Yeah, you're right, Chris Thorpe. Lead him to a fucking PTA meeting. Like, you guys, you look back at this. It is a full-blown, okay, they got phone scams, okay? They got phone scams. There's human trafficking going on, for sure. They traffic people in to work the phones, to run the scam through Facebook and shit, because that's where they solicit their fucking deposits from, Facebook, okay? And for real, there's flowcharts and shit, guys. I put them on the channel to show people that, hey, yes, this actually happens. There is documents showing that they have a quota they have to meet through Facebook, and there is a flowchart that says how you followed through Facebook, how many messages you sent, how many people you got a hold of, how many people donated, how many phone numbers you got. I'm not going to flip this around, okay? Because there's fucking phone numbers on here. And there's a shit ton of fucking phone numbers on this list, okay? And all these phone numbers are from the Florida area, okay? And they got emails next to them, names, phone numbers, and where they're from. What city, okay? I don't know what this list is. I've had it for some time. I won't post it because this is personal information here. But there's a shit ton of fucking numbers on here. Enough for me to be concerned about. Why would this cult have this many numbers saved of this many people? And it's not just some phone list of it's random people, guys, from different cities. So that is part of their scam. I'm guessing this list that I have right here is a call list that they went down and, hey, these are people that donated and shit, you know, and we can call these people back and get more donations or more deposits. Yep. And what they do, Ann, is they go onto people's Facebook. Smash that like, y'all. They go onto people's Facebook, and they troll people's Facebook. For real. They go to people's Facebook, and they see what people are saying, right? And then they'll start messaging them. Hey, well, I see you got this on your heart. And they'll start shooting out fucking messages to people on Facebook to try and solicit donations. Deposits. I gotta stop saying donations. Deposits. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ted Cruz. It's only a matter of time before the information got into the data game with religion. Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right. Hard one to get into, man. Especially with religion. But yeah, this is a list, guys, of phone numbers. What the phone numbers are for, I don't know. I have no clue. But I always ask myself that question all the fucking time. What are all these phone numbers for? What are all those phone numbers for, guys? That's what I question. I've wanted to call some of the fucking phone numbers on there, just start asking questions. Just to do that part and see if people have been contacted by them, if they're getting scammed by them. Why not? Why not? So, Chuck Wood, answer your question, my man. Yes, David is going to go into hiding, man. I believe so. Yep, that Ted Cruz, that's exactly what I'm thinking, my man. That's exactly what I was thinking. Precious donors or big donors. Big donors. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like I probably would cross the line if I started calling. I don't want to do that. I put those numbers in the hands of where it should be. Oh yeah, Tom Bombadil. Yeah, no, I have a flow chart of what they're supposed to do on Facebook. Yeah. They troll people's Facebook. Autocorrect, right, for a change. But yeah, guys, what we're kind of seeing, I got off the phone with my boy Bill Cosby ASMR just a bit ago, and I confide with a lot of people in this, dude. I think we're starting to see the House of Cards slowly start to. He hasn't had fucking worship team on. You don't see anybody in the sanctuary. He's saying COVID's still going when shit's open up. Nobody claims this. Yep. Longest shutaway in life. David's full of shit. Looks like he's got a rerun from last year too, with Andre Gazarovsky. Look at this fucking cake they bought, this sack of shit. Really? Probably gonna eat the whole fucking thing too. Everybody asks why I do this is because I want to see this stopped. It's the only way. Hello, you're live.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press...
Tom, you are live.
Hey, hello, sir. How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing tonight? Thanks for calling in.
I'm good. I'm just driving home, but I wanted to call in. I was there. I was part of JMMI years ago.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor, man. Talk. It's your floor.
I left everything, like a bunch of other people, some people who are still there. I left everything to be part of JMMI, and I was in like a very vulnerable state because I was there to do full-time ministry. And, there were people, I knew someone who gave up a baseball scholarship to be part of JMMI.
Yeah, Eli. Eli.
Yeah, Eli. He was going to be a college baseball player in Texas, and he gave that up to be part of JMMI and to spam people's Facebooks, and everyone was just sleeping on the floors in this office building. People weren't even taking showers. People were doing these things called bird baths.
Yep.
Where
I know what you're talking about.
you had to go inside the bathroom and just kind of freshen up.
Yeah, if you're in the military,
Just,
baby wipes.
yeah. No, there was just no one bought baby wipes. It was just go in the bathroom, and it was gross. People's faces were breaking out. Eli's face was breaking out. To mention it, I feel bad. This guy was gonna be a college baseball player, and he was, just living in filth, spamming people's Facebooks for money, and there was you know, there were just people that they left everything like me because we were like all, you know, like everyone's really concerned about this country and we really care about the spiritual direction of things. And some of us were like, okay, well, we're going to really do what it takes to seek God and what he's doing. And this person's claiming to literally be the best friend of Jesus Christ. Which, if this is the best friend of Jesus Christ, like we're so utterly screwed if this guy is Jesus Christ's best friend, you know, and like the global harvest, whatever, is relying on this person. Like we are utterly screwed. And that's like my perspective. That I wouldn't believe it. Like I was believing it for a minute, but then I just started like asking too many questions. Like, okay, like why is everything here suck? Like why is everyone just like zombies? That you know, like why are you having sex with people inside of your ministry? You know, like why are you having sex with Vicky Yogi? You know, and that kicked off. And then you have a bunch of men who are just like Chen. Like I met Chen. Like Chen was a really good guy, and he was just kind of like the strict school teacher type of person. And even when I was there, like Chen, like I was making friends with people in the group, and Chen was like, "No, you guys you're making a little group. Like you're forming, you know, like they broke up. Like we had like a little friendship group forming. He's like, no, you can't have that. Like it was like they wanted to keep us like isolated and dependent on them. So he was like, yeah, you guys are hanging out too much. You're talking amongst yourselves too much. You got to break that up. Stop that."
I got a member. I got a question from one of the members of the chat. How did he treat members? How did he treat people who worked for him? Did he treat people a different way? Like, did he treat a certain member a specific way? Like, did he baby other members? Like, treat the women differently compared to the men? And say like, did he favor a certain female member over another and another male member over another?
Yeah, there were tiers. So like I was in the Michigan people, and like I got in quick because I had like sacrificed a lot to get there. So they kind of let me be on a fast track. But there is a higher level of people in St. Louis. If you were part of like the St. Louis group, that was like the closer clique. And then, you know, like he's having sex with the women too, so that's another level. And if you're like one of his armor bearers, basically you know, you probably know about the sex and you're like getting him drugs and shit.
So there's drug use going on there. I knew that. Fuck, man, that was a given.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But you don't know about that at the entry level. At the entry level, it's all Catherine Coleman, Smith Wigglesworth, you know, oh, we're just like these people. You know, like they don't talk about the dark stuff going on.
What was some of the most disturbing behavior you saw there while you were there? And how long were you there for, if you don't mind me asking?
I was only there for a few months before I was asking too many questions, and they kicked me out, and they told people, like, don't let him stay with you. They held, like, my stuff was, like, hostage there. I had to, like, go and fight them to get the stuff that I left in the building back. But to me, like, what's most disturbing is the promises that they make. Like people literally believe God is going to come as, like, a cloud man, as, like, a giant cloud man.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's other disturbing stuff, too, for, like, human trafficking. But to me, what's disturbing is you have people, you know, like, depression, like, the really, like, sensitive things that people actually believe that, you know, like, that people are going to be healed of cancer. Like, that's a big one.
That's
like,
fucked up, right? Yeah, that's some fucked up shit, man. We're getting questions in the chat too, dude. What kind of drugs was David using? Did you ever see that, or were you aware by chance?
No, like I only hear stories. Like I know people that have gotten roughed up by DavidETaylor. Like you know, like I think we've talked offline about the truck driver who he met his wife. Like, you know, like one of the good things is like his wife was someone that he ended up marrying. Like he got her out of there.
Yeah.
But they beat him up. Like he was just sitting there and he was asking questions too.
I know who you're talking about.
Like, pulled it.
Yep.
Yeah, they pulled a chair from under him.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to say his name.
No,
but
I know who you're talking about.
He's
He's a good friend of mine. I can call him anytime. I actually spoke to him not too long ago. I text him quite frequently. Yep.
The thing is like people. That the other thing they tell you is that like you're never gonna have supernatural experiences. They tell you you're gonna be outside of the perfect will of God, because all the fucked up stuff, which there's plenty of it, it's all justified that people want to be inside of the perfect will of God for their life. Okay, so they think if I'm there with David Taylor, I'm in the perfect will of God for my life, and if I leave, I mean, a lot of them think they're going to hell if they leave, and a lot of them, you know, whether they've had dreams or whatever, they think they're going to hell if they leave. Like literally going to eternal hell if they leave. So it's not just all the time that they wasted, but they'll literally go to hell if they leave. So they have no choice. Like they will go to hell. They will literally go to hell, and they just think in their mind that they have to cover up all of their sins. Kind of like when there was a story in the Bible that like somebody woke up naked. And they had like one of the sons came out and talked about it, and he was cursed, and the ones that covered it up wasn't cursed. So they use these like stories to justify all the dark stuff they're covering up.
Yep. It's Noah. I think it's Noah. Somebody in here that's okay. It's Noah. Okay, Thank you, Matthew Moore. And how did, if you don't mind me asking, how did you? Where did you cut? Like, I don't want to get into that. How did you get involved? What brought you into that situation with David? And what got you that started? Why did you start asking questions?
Okay, so like they target people in charismatic evangelicalism. So I was around like Bethel, like all these. Like the new Apostolic Reformation
NAR,
like
yep.
Bethel,
5F movement.
NAR, all those they target those people. Like
hey, hold on real quick.
Blue Angle.
Hey, boss, Matthew Moore. This is an ex-member. He's telling us his story about everything. Go ahead. Sorry, dude.
So like, if you're into like, you know, I want to see the next Great Awakening. I want to see revival in America. I want to see, you know, the latter rain movement, all these different things. Like he targets those people, and we did that while I was there. Like we went to something called Love Detroit, and I was just like, wow, like we're all getting together as a group, you know, like it was about unity. But he sends you there. It's not about unity. It's about picking people off to join your cult, because they're like they don't know that we're actually the best. So we're gonna go and we're gonna try to like pick people off from this like unity event to join our thing. So like I drove across the country, Alex, to get there. Like I gave up a lot. Like I sacrificed financially and everything, and so you're kind of stuck because you're giving up your time, your talent, and your treasure as if this was really Jesus. You know, like you're just like in that movement. You're like, well, I'm just gonna sacrifice everything and trust that God's gonna catch me. You know, and so some people, they've done that with David Taylor. They've given up everything, and they trust that God's gonna catch them. And now they've been stuck there. I see people who are still there. I saw the duck face. Like I saw the duck face picture on Facebook, and I'm just like, well, this guy, like for me, that triggered me, man. That duck face, that really triggered me.
What another question, and it's from one of the ladies in the group who actually, this lady, she's from Ireland, and she was the one that picked out David's bad cholesterol, dude. All right, so big shout out to Ann, all the way from Ireland, watching from there. Said David is fucked up and he's sick and he's got health problems. So big shout out to you, Ann. Thank you for that. She wants to know, were there children in the group and were they homeschooled, etc.? Did you ever see kids there? What was the situation with that? And did you ever see anything like that? Did you ever see children there?
Like in the Detroit building, there were Sunday services, and they would have like weekly events. Because when I was there, people were living in that building there in Detroit, off of, I think like in Southgate.
Okay.
Southgate, Michigan.
Yeah, it's like Dearborn, Southgate. Yeah.
Yeah. People were living in that office building, money that way. Because he'll say like, oh, I have all this money. You know, God's given me all this money, and then people are living in an office building taking bird baths. I had to funnel people to Planet Fitness because one of the things I was like, look, like we have to take care of our health for ourselves, or we're not going to be able to serve God to our best. That's one of the things that like I was pushing when I was there. Like, if we can't go to the gym and work out, if we can't like eat right, we can't serve God properly. So I was someone like I was using like my card to funnel to take people to the gym just to like take a shower at that time because people were skipping showers.
How
Everyone
long?
was on food stamps.
How long were they going without showers and stuff?
Days.
Days? Okay.
Days.
No,
Yeah,
Chuck.
they made everyone dressed up in like you had to wear like a suit and tie, but you weren't showering. It was the weirdest thing.
Did you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement?
No, not when I was there.
Okay, you didn't. Okay. We had a question. Will you get the NDA is no good? Yeah. If you sign an NDA, it's no good.
Yeah, like when I was like, everyone in the morning like gets together in the circle, and they would like do this prayer for David Taylor. Like they're just praying like may the man of God complete. They have all these weird like legends about him. Like he has 5 chapters of his life that he has to complete. Like may the man of God complete all 5 chapters of his life. Yeah, and then everyone shouts yes at once. And you're not allowed to pray for anyone but David Taylor at that time. They're like, you can't pray for your mom. You only pray for David Taylor because if you pray for David Taylor, then all the other problems in the world are going to be fixed. Is what they basically were saying. So like everyone has to get together and they have to just pray for David Taylor.
And
Sorry,
how?
I'm like driving home.
No, you're fine, boss. And did you stay in that building too? Or did you have to camp out in that building also with those people?
Yeah, I did for a little bit before they kicked me out for asking too many questions.
What kind of questions were you asking?
I was like, why are we getting food stamps? Why is everyone on food stamps? Like, why can't people work? And why are we eating healthier? Why aren't people showering? I was skeptical of like the claims he was making as well. Just like this is like because the claims were that this is the greatest man of God to ever exist. Like David Taylor's the greatest man of God to have ever existed, and if you just trust him, like all the world's problems are going to be fixed. And that's basically what they're saying. And I just was like, okay, like I was, like I'm a believer type of person, like
Yeah.
I've it served me well in other aspects of my life with investing and things like that.
Yeah.
I've taken a risk on things, high risk, high reward, but again, like this guy, like as someone who wanted to believe it, he like people were dying. Like there was someone that while I was there, like he was in the hospital, like a core member who nobody knows who this is. It was just some older man. He died. We went and visited him in the hospital. We all circled him and prayed for him, and he died. And nobody, I don't remember what his name was, but it's just one of these members that, like no one's gonna remember him because he died and David Taylor didn't save him. And that's because I was part of a Baptist church where we prayed for somebody and they got healed of cancer, and then went into remission and it came back. So I was always very passionate about seeing cancer healed and just seeing the dead raised, but it just becomes about like their little drama, the little fights. And I remember there was an actual Nigerian princess there when I was there. There was like an actual Nigerian princess who was there, and she just was like, she got out of there, thank God. But he attracts. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got another good question. Like I'm watching the questions, and you got the floor totally, but I want to get some of these questions out to you because these are solid questions, man. Next question. What about basic needs like healthcare, clothes for growing kids? Did David pay for those? How did people access basic essential money and get like basic needs that they needed met? Things like that.
Yeah. So again, like someone literally died. Like one of the core members while I was there, who died, and that was it. It was like he didn't have much family that we knew of. It just kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And and people were just eating a lot of junk food. Really, like it was a lot of like chips and like no one really cooked. Again, we had food stamps, so like what they would do is like they would get all the food stamps, like a stack of food stamp cards, and they would just go to the grocery store and buy stuff. But I don't remember it being particularly healthy.
Okay. Okay. When you were there, was there ever a time when parents showed up and tried to find who their family members were? If so, how did they handle those situations? Who was in charge of you while you were on the phones? Like when you guys were doing phone calls and stuff, was there always somebody shadowing you? Was things like that? What were the overall day-to-day activities like? You know, like how? That was really the question. Was there any family members while you were there who tried to find their loved ones?
Yeah. So after I left, there was more, but there was one of his tech guys. I think you probably know him, probably like this Italian guy. His mom was like super distraught over him. And
Let's keep. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. His mom like talked to me. I think they were like a Catholic family, and super worried about him, and just distraught about. And then I met somebody else who, like their family had gone, and his daughter had walked away from the Christian faith after being at DavidETaylor's, just quit the Christian faith altogether. And
Okay.
this older man, he was into like weird New Age stuff, you know.
David was?
After that. No, like someone who had gone to the church and they got burned so badly, they just completely quit Christianity because they were like, you know, if this is like Jesus' best friend or whatever, I'm done. This is insane. I'm done with Christianity.
Okay. See, oh man. Yeah. Okay. And you said you were only there for about 4 or 5 months, you said, so you got out pretty quick because you started asking questions.
Yeah, it was probably less than that. I'd have to go look at the dates again. But
Okay.
the thing is like if they can't control you and you start asking questions, they'll kick you out pretty quick.
Yeah, they broom you real fast, don't they? They don't. It's like fear in combat almost. What's the worst thing in combat is fear, because it spreads like a fucking virus, man. You don't want fear on a soldier in combat because they'll stop fighting. It's the same thing here. You can't have like somebody questioning the cult because that's like that will start spreading a different mentality to the followers, and they can't have that. Cult psychology 101, guys. This is what this is. This is real. This is a survivor of JMMI, okay? This is first-hand account. He's been following the channel, and he's letting us know, yeah, this is what went on here, guys. This is what went on inside this place.
That's what I meant when I was there with, like, because Shin was one of the leaders, and he just saw me talk, like, a group of me and, like, a couple other people. One of those people are still there years later. Like, this would have been, like 6 years later, probably.
What did they say?
I
I'm sorry. I keep getting mad. Keep getting good questions. What did they say when they kicked you out?
They said I was asking. Basically, it was because I was asking too many questions.
Okay.
And they just try to like they try to like attack me. Like anyone else who leaves, they try to like attack you from any angle. They try to like make you look really bad and
They vilify you.
make it look like they vilify you.
Okay.
I just need 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I need to hold on for a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, guys. So this is a live interview right now. This is a live interview. This guy was only there for less than 6 months, guys. Imagine what's going on with people who've been there for 10, fucking 5, 6, 7 years. 8. Tony's been there the fucking longest, 10 years. Michelle, think of the damage that's going on with this right now. This is only a 4-month, 5-month period. And you guys are asking bang up questions, dude. If you guys wouldn't mind, right? Would you go ahead, smash the like, and then also if you guys got comments and questions, drop them in the actual comment section of the video, okay? Not in the chat, but in the video.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay, cool, man. Everybody's saying thank you. Everybody's is absolutely enjoying what you're saying. Everybody's listening, and everybody is right on with you, dude. Everybody's here got your back, dude.
Thank you. It's hard. Like I spoke up when I first left, but they get everyone teamed up against you, and they get really nasty. Like they go for and they lie. They were saying lies about me too.
Who's
Like,
the worst?
Completely. What?
Who's the worst? Did you ever deal with Michelle or David directly? Did you ever have any contact with David or Michelle?
Well, I was telling you, Michelle was saying crazy stuff that they're ready for. Like, I found the text messages, by the way.
Please email me
Michelle
those.
saying-
Yeah, email me those.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell me what they say. Go tell the chat what they said.
She said she was ready for like a Jonestown incident, basically, of like tanks and stuff.
Text messages now, guys.
Yeah, she said she's ready for tanks and missiles, and like they were getting ready for CNN to cover that. Like they wanted that to happen. Actually, they wanted
another Waco.
Waco, yeah.
Waco,
that's what she
Jonestown,
said.
call it whatever you want, man.
That's what she said. I found the text messages, and she said she was ready for tanks. So
Yeah,
I don't think they have anything near what Waco had, but
Yeah.
they are definitely crazy.
Did they have armed? When you were there, did you ever see any armed security or anything like that? Because you said they had armorers, right?
So he had some bodyguards, and when he went to slay us in the spirit, like the bodyguards would like slam me in the seat. So if he wasn't gonna slay in the spirit, which we can, that's a whole other topic. It doesn't matter. The bodyguard like slammed your ass down in the seat. So either way, like you were going down.
Now, did you ever see with your own eyes any physical abuse go on?
I mean, yeah, like so I got slammed. Like the bodyguard would like slam me in the seat. Like I met people who did get roughed up by them. And no, people got like psychologically like messed with, but I didn't get in deep enough. Like some people I met who, yeah, like if you get in deep enough and because they tell you to cut everybody off for like a year. When I went there, they're like, you should cut everybody off for like a year so that the devil doesn't tempt you to go away. And I wasn't about to do that, but once they have you and you're part of like the St. Louis clique, then you're being groomed for that clique, you start seeing the violent stuff. And DavidETaylor, like he has like little pet nicknames for people that are nasty, and it's like.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah.
Can you be more specific? Can you be more specific on the cliques that you're talking about?
I mean,
You say they got a St. Louis
it was
clique.
like when I was there, the people who were at the building in Southgate, that was kind of like the bottom, and you were like doing all the Facebook work, and you had to like get so many phone calls a day, and you had like fundraising numbers to hit, and people were taking the bird baths and not showering and sleeping on the floors in the office building.
How were y'all transported from place to place?
They didn't have nobody. I had to drive people in my own personal vehicle when I just showed up there. I was transporting people
Okay.
in my own personal vehicle.
Now, were you there before or after the deposition?
After.
After? Yes, Chris Com. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
After the deposition. That had just dropped. They were like, don't watch it.
They said don't watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of it now? Based from the time you're in, okay, and What year were you in? If you can't remember the year, that's fine.
2016.
2016. Okay, 2016 till now. What's your outlook? What's your view? What do you think is going on? What's your view of the dynamic? What do you think?
I just think, as somebody who, if I'm trying to think as like a true believer who's trying to keep the faith of this thing, it's like, how could this guy be the best friend of Jesus Christ? You know, because again, like I told you this, like I'm still a Christian.
Yeah.
And I've gotten stronger in my faith. Like financially, I'm good. You know, like my life, I'm thankful. If there's any like true believers there, I'm thankful I didn't stay, and I feel bad for people who did. If I ever feel bad about my life, I'm just like, well, thank God I didn't stay at that place, you know, for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And like when I was there, like I had a dream of like DavidETaylor Street, which I saw like a year later he got rewarded DavidETaylor Street. So I had like a premonition dream when I was there. But then in that same dream, I saw the guy that he had died. In that same dream, I saw that he had died. And people there, like I had to go there and like help people who were just like in a daze. Like they didn't know what to do. Like they were just lost, you know. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think there's so many stories of these cults, you know, and the aftermath, you know, because I really wish God came as a giant cloud man, you know, in the sky, and if you pick DavidETaylor or whatever, but just come down here and fix things. I wish that would happen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think the amount of damage being done far outweighs the good. Like I know when you're in that building, like there's a certain energy in that building. Like yes, I know I was there. Like there's energy there.
You want to hear something funny, my man? I also got another question.
Yeah.
Let me get the question off first, and what did Anne from Ireland? What did being groomed look like for the inner circle? Said you were being groomed for the inner circle, right?
I mean, I guess so. Like it's just I didn't make it too far. Like I was only there, you know, like I was only there for a few months, like maybe 3 months. You know, like I'll have to really go back and look at the numbers.
Okay.
But it was in you know 2016, and I didn't know you were doing phone-in calls tonight, so I just kind of called in.
No, this
So
is cool.
basically,
Dude, so many people are asking a lot of questions
Yeah.
tonight, man. I'm only getting to some of them.
But like when you're there, like he's like yelling at the sound guys, you know, like you're not changing the PowerPoint slides quick enough. Like he's super abusive, and I think the grooming is just like how much abuse are you willing to take? Like how useful are you while still being controllable? Is basically the grooming.
Was there a lot of love
Like how
bombing?
much-
Was there love bombing when you first got there?
A little bit. I was actually kicked out the night I kicked on the night of my birthday,
Okay.
which was like that really hurt actually. Like it was, nobody knew it was my birthday. But yeah, there is love bombing when you're there. I came on kind of strong, and like they probably know, if they were to listen to this, they probably could figure out who I am. But like I had just gone to like Azusa Now, which was this really big event in California in 2016. You know, so like I was just like looking for the move of God, like the cutting edge move of God. So like I had questions, and I was like, I wasn't just gonna roll over and take it, because I really wanted to be part of what God was doing. And I just wasn't convinced that DavidETaylor was it, because you're convinced that DavidETaylor, like I heard Bishop Scott just today say, like this is the best move of God. Like everyone else in the NAR, they're like, you know, like if I were to be taken away, like God will still do the movement. But in DavidETaylor's movement, if he fails, I don't think they know what's gonna happen, because he is the move of God on planet Earth. Like like he's preventing a war with Russia right now.
What do you
they think of him.
given what you know, your experience, your short experience with them? What do you think will happen when David does indeed say kick the bucket, and do you think they'll just kind of throw their hands up, be like, oh shit, we don't know what to do now?
It'll be over, completely over it, and they're gonna need there's already people happened.
Dude, people think I'm fucking crazy because I do this, but it's because of people like you and that are coming out sharing your story with the world, because people aren't just watching. This is YouTube. This isn't fucking Channel 5 News in fucking Detroit and shit. This is YouTube. This is seen all over the world.
I gave up everything to be there. Okay, so at the
Dude,
time,
can I ask you a question? Do you feel like you were trafficked into this cult?
I kept my wits about me, but other people, yes. There's people who are still there who showed up at the same time as me, you know, and maybe they'll say they're there of their own free will, you know, like, that's fine, but they're also kind of stuck, you know, and it's the sunk cost fallacy. And I'm not an expert in human trafficking, but there's a lot of people that they're homeless if they leave that place. They have nowhere to go if they leave. I know that's a fact. There's people there and they don't have a plan B. And that's what they teach you in these, you know, like God's your plan A. You have no plan B. If you have a plan B, you're not trusting God. So I can guarantee you there's plenty of people there who they have no plan B, they're trusting God, and that means being David Taylor's slave.
What do you think? What do you think is going on with all the mansions being bought up? That's from a subscriber, Michael H. Long. What does he think David is doing with all the mansions and real estate he's buying up?
I mean, he's looking out for numero uno. That's what he's doing.
Looking out for himself, numero uno.
Yeah.
He's looking out for David. Okay.
He's looking out for David.
Okay.
They tell you you're going to be rich. That's what they're like, we're all going to be rich one day. You know, just stick with it. So I don't know how that's going to happen, but they tell you that too. They tell you that you're all going to be rich one day.
In your opinion, who was the most, say, abusive in any manner? Psychologically, physically, emotionally, religiously, besides David, obviously, the leader of the fucking cult. Who was the most abusive, would you say, after David?
So again, like I know people who got actually physically abused, and a lot of it's like this passive forms of abuse, and a lot of it's the psychological conditioning around like religious dogma. So to say that like people like actively abused you, like you could find it, but it's more of this mind control. It's different forms of mind control and deprivation, and using people's zeal for God to manipulate them.
How many hours of sleep a day are they getting when you were there?
Oh, that's another thing is yeah, they're deprived of sleep. So they will be up very late, doing, you know, whatever, ministry, Facebook, and then you have to get up like really early the next day. It was you know, like it was early in the morning, and you have to get up and you have to do that prayer circle where everyone prays for Holy David Taylor, and they go, you know, David Taylor, you know, become really rich, and everyone goes, yes, and it's like, it's really creepy. And again, if you pray for anything else, they're like, no, you can't pray for anything else, only David Taylor.
So Joseph Bush, you never really saw Joe and he dish out any abuse or anything like that?
No, that's a really limperistic guy, the way he carried himself. Like Joe, like I liked him, but these guys are all David Taylor's eunuchs. You know, it made me feel really bad for Chin, for Joseph. I think they're good guys, and they're just like eunuchs for this creep.
Hold on real second. Chin Kim, if you're watching, dude, there's people out who care and want to hear your story, dude. Okay, if you're watching this and by chance you pick this up, we're looking for you, buddy, okay? We're looking for you, man. We're worried for you, too.
Nice guy.
Dude, we're worried for you big time, Chin Kim. You know what makes this even more ironic is that today is David E. Taylor's, like, he's celebrating his birthday shit show this week, and that a member who actually put in some time, this is an ex-member, put in about, let's say 6 months, okay? And he's given his testimony of what happened. This is first-hand account of what he saw, guys.
No, I met all these people, and so like maybe if they could all just admit they got it wrong, like God's not coming as a giant cloud man. That's not happening.
Yeah.
That's what everyone there. When I was there, like people were having dreams, and everyone, you know, were really impacted. Like I had a few dreams myself, but like I said, one of them And
What's-
nobody wanted to hear that shit.
So you said something about a missing person.
Well, someone died in the hospital, and I remember, like that shook people up at the time because they were like, because they thought like we have the power of God here. Because one of the things they do, Alex, is like people that are there. One of the tricks the charismatics do, I think like if you come in like they make you sit in a wheelchair, like somebody who's like a little bit impaired in their mobility but didn't have a wheelchair, they'll make you sit in a wheelchair, and then they'll call you up and they'll make you get out of the wheelchair, and they're like hobbling across the stage. Like I've seen DavidETaylor with some people hobbling across the stage, but those people didn't come there for a wheelchair. You provided the wheelchair, so that's like some of the sleight of hand they'll do.
What about did they?
And there's a spectrum.
Did they?
I'm saying there's some side. I'm saying there's real healing. Like real healing occurs. Like people get healed and stuff. But the point is, the people there are justifying all the damage done because they think like this is the most healing. This is the actual Son of God's best friend, and it's just not. It's clearly not.
Did they have anyone monitoring negative sites about the church? That's from our channel subscriber Lone Star 131. He's a mod on the channel. He's wondering if they'd had anybody monitoring negative sites.
Yeah, everyone was. I mean, at the time, it was all about Rick Fraser. Rick Fraser, and like he's like I think he's the one where like the wife gave all the money. Like his ex-wife gave all the money, and anyway, everyone knows Rick Fraser. I don't know. Like I've been saying a lot in this conversation. It was kind of for the moment. I stay on the phone, but I'm just trying to like think about.
Yeah, no, I'm
I'm
getting questions here. I'll get the questions as they come. Did you ever work in the call center?
Yeah, I did it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. And do they redefine or manipulate your spiritual experiences to use them to control you?
Yes.
Okay. Does he preach about homosexuality a lot?
Yeah, booty bandits. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's pretty funny. He said some pretty funny stuff about homosexuality. I'll give him that. Like, yeah, I said it. Like it's one of the few things he did well was preaching against homosexuality, but he's also banging everybody at the same time. Like he's getting his fill in too.
Where did the kids go to school?
His kids?
Well, just the kids in general. You saw kids there? Where did the kids go to school? Was there a school there?
No.
Okay. Let's see here. Monitoring the church? No. Let's see. Would you compare this church to Scientology?
I think he believes the stuff. I think he's had some real experiences, but it's like judging by their fruits, okay? And the fruits are awful. They suck.
Yeah. Does David have more than one sexual partner?
Yes, that's why Vicky he was so mad because she just got them. That's why she was so mad because she was not number one, and that's why she was so mad.
Okay. Another question from Chris Com. Did you ever have those what the fuck moments when watching David go on and on with his complete nonsense? Did you ever get to see him unfold firsthand?
Yeah, like there was one time, I think they know who I am by now, so they were calling people on stage, because like Jesus Christ is literally on stage. He's on stage right now, and so DavidETaylor calls me on stage of a bunch of people, and I'm just up there like flailing around, like what do I do? Like Jesus Christ is literally on stage right now, what do I do? And he's getting like really pissed off on the floor, and he just like left the room because I think I pieced this together afterwards, but I think I was up there just flailing around, and he's like, "You're not up there to pray, you're up there to receive." So he just wanted me to like to stand still, but I'm just like flailing around, like what do I do? Like, am I about to get zapped? Like, because some people got like zapped, and they just like started
Yeah.
Like, am I going to start spazzing out? Like, what's going to happen? But nothing really happened to me. And he just, like, stormed out of the room, Alex, and we were there for, like, another 5 hours. Like, just someone was just playing the same chord progression of those strings for, like, 5 hours. And he just left because I guess I pissed him off or something. He just left and nobody was told. And that's what's gonna happen when he dies. It's like people are just gonna they're just gonna be for like a while, just like, okay, what do we do? And it's gonna finally hit them like it's over, like he's gone. That's what's gonna happen to them.
Did you ever go to any of the houses, like the residential center or anything?
No.
Okay. Did the guests have any personal experience with David? Like, was David like sleep? You said David was sleeping with a bunch of women. I mean, the personal experiences. What kind of experiences did David have with the guests while you were there? Did you ever see that?
The guests?
Yeah.
I don't know like who the guests are.
Oh, okay. Did you ever feel the need to call law enforcement? Did it ever cross your mind while you were there, with what you were seeing, just in general? Now, what you know about it now, does it ever cross your mind to call law enforcement?
Yeah, it's really screwed up, and it's like he's crossing the lines, but he's walking the line of every little thing, like just like right up to the line of many different things. It's really evil. It's really insidious. What he's doing.
How does the food stamp fraud work?
So they wanted me. I took a bunch of people to get food stamps. I actually didn't do it, but a bunch of us got on food stamps, and because I was making time to work. Like I went and I found temp work to do.
Okay.
Okay, and then other people were collecting food stamps, and just everyone just pulled their food stamps together, and then they would go, raise more money for David Taylor.
How much money when you guys they went out on these soul harvesting? How much money were they bringing in? Like, say, per day? Like, did you ever witness any of that kind of stuff going on?
I don't remember. I know it was like a competition. Like people on the Facebook, like there was they had like kind of like, like coffees for closers kind of thing.
Yep.
With the, I don't remember the exact amounts, but I mean, I think other people have come out with their stories of just how much they've had like shaken out of them.
Ted Cruz, can we call the cops on him for committing food stamp fraud? Nope, you can't. That's a federal service. You got to get with the government, my man.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that.
A question from another subscriber, Kid Frost. He's been with us for a long time. If it ever came down to it, would you ever consider testifying against David for the stuff you saw?
I guess, like for me, this has been 6 years later, but at the same time, it's still going on. There's no cloud man coming down. There's nothing. Like nothing's happening that he said was going to happen. Nothing. The cancer is killing people still. And people that I knew who were there from the beginning are still there. People are still stuck in that. So yeah, I probably would.
Okay. Let's see here. Is it policy to encourage encourage people to give more than they can afford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
give everything.
Did you ever get paid for your work while you were there?
No.
No? Are you still in
I
contact
was
with?
screwed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you still get any harassment from the cult?
Yeah, like they not anymore, no,
Okay.
but at the time, yeah, a lot.
Okay. Was David sleeping with people being brought into the group, like the young women?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't find out till later, but I think a lot of this was covered on Larry Reed Live. Go watch Larry Reed Live. He covered a lot of this.
Okay, so he did okay. But you never saw it with your own eyes. Like, you didn't see David, like, I guess, being flirty with women, like super hyper feminine and stuff with them. Anything like that?
There was a vibe, like women were dressing a certain type of way that wasn't appropriate for
Okay.
They're, like the men were in the suits, which was one thing, but the women were dressing kind of a way that wasn't
Like provocative for church.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this? Not that.
There was a suspicion there.
It's the IRS Lone Star. It's the IRS Lone Star. Yeah, I report this place to the IRS weekly. That's why I write to the IRS, because this is the only way to get them to do something about it is to destroy their money flow. Right. What was the now? You said you worked on the Facebook, right? Correct.
Yeah.
And did you ever bring in money for the cult?
No, I didn't. No, not me. I wasn't good at that. Nope.
Okay. What was your primary focus there when you got there?
I was shuttling people around in my car.
That's it.
I was doing a lot of grunt work, physical work around the place.
Okay.
But then they kicked me out pretty quick for asking too many questions.
Did David ever organize anything fun, kind or generous for the staff?
I think we, once in a while, yeah, would go watch the movies, or they had a little event where we were playing basketball. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What's your biggest concern with this place right now? I think I might have already asked. If you could put a word into somebody from the cult that might be listening or following right now, what is one piece of it, say spiritual advice, just advice, human advice, any piece of advice you could give one of these members that's stuck in this cult right now, and we call it a cult, we want you guys out. What is one piece of advice you could give them? Their strongest piece of advice right now, and tell them anything.
Okay, so I went there looking for the cutting edge move of God, and DavidETaylor is not it. He's not the cutting edge move of God, and there's better people. It's hard to put into a word, but his promises are lies. He had crazy stories that we were gonna be having Marvel superhero powers. Okay, and maybe I've had some crazy stuff happen. I've had crazy stuff happen. I don't want to weird people out, but I don't think it's gonna be tied into all this. For every cool story, there's 99 terrible ones, and I don't see that in the ministry of Jesus. And that's it. I don't think this is what he's claiming to be. It's for every one good thing, there's 99 awful things. And I don't think that's what you were promised when you came there.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say to anybody, man? I mean,
it is a lot, but I'll probably just stop while I'm ahead here.
no, keep talking. The chat's rolling. People are interested, man. We want to hear. We want to hear more, man. I mean, let's talk. Let's try this. Let's go for a little bit. Let's start from your first day there. What happened the first day?
Because to me, what I care about is the things that people were promised all these supernatural far out things. That was the appeal. Is I remember Michelle being I was in ministry, guys, but there's no ministry like that, and like DavidETaylor's, and I'm trying to think of how much of that was just feelings people had versus actual phenomenon happening. Because I'm a true believer. People I've been around the legs growing out. I have a friend. She was healed by Pat Robertson praying on a TV. Have you ever watched the 700 Club?
No,
I could pull up the YouTube video, and I could pull up the YouTube video of my friend, and I'm yes, that I know her. That really happened. That's her real dog on this video with Pat Robertson praying to the TV. So it's 9 to 1. It's a really bad ratio of what the good stuff to bad, and then people there don't know the half of it, or they're unwilling to see it. So that's like I care about the people. They really want to see America saved. They really want to see a great awakening. People really want to be sold out for Jesus Christ. We've given everything for Jesus Christ, like everything for Jesus Christ, and you're getting shit. You're getting shit. Like you get duck face guy on Facebook. You get like arguments on Facebook. You're being told to stalk people and to like cast curses on people. Like, is that what you signed up for? You wanted like Jesus Christ, and you get all this drama and bullshit.
What? Good question. What is the shutaway all about?
He's hiding. He said, oh, this is my longest shutaway ever, and it just happened to be during COVID. Which he said COVID was going to be dissipated in like April of 2020. I remember him saying that.
COVID worked in
COVID
David's.
was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID basically worked in David's benefit, man. It did.
Yeah, if DavidETaylor was who he says he is, he should have been holding COVID crusades, just like Crusade Against Cancer. He should have just, like, you know who did that? Rodney Howard Brown in Tampa, Florida. Rodney Howard Brown got in trouble with the government because he was refusing to close his church's doors during COVID. And he paid a lot of money to have, like, air purification devices, all these different things. If DavidETaylor was half of what he says he was, he would have been holding crusades during COVID, against COVID, let alone saying, oh, I don't want to cause a mass spreader event. When I was there, it wasn't some person afraid of causing a mass spreader event. It was someone claiming that he was the greatest man of God ever. And now you're saying, oh, I'm scared of a mass spreader event over, this version of flu. So, like, that's where I'm coming from. Like, a true believer in DavidETaylor, like, is this what you signed up for? It's not. You didn't sign up for somebody who's scared of a mass spreader event. Even look at the Black Plague, Alex. There was people who stayed in plague-ridden cities to fight the Black Plague. Okay, and they didn't claim to be the greatest man of God or to be Jesus' best friend.
Now we could go on about the Black Plague and religion and the church, and we can talk a whole fucking debate on that. We really could. we could tie the Black Plague with COVID, with social media and history right now, and it would be a fucking mess, dude.
Well, that's what I feel strongly about. Like the details, I feel like try to remember them. But it's people who are really looking to serve Jesus Christ, and they were promised a ministry that was on the level. It says in the Bible, you'll do the work that Jesus Christ does and greater. And I don't see evidence. They say that they're doing the works that Jesus Christ did and greater, but all I see is a bunch of money laundering, a bunch of sexual morality, and just a lot of fucked up stuff. I don't see the works Jesus did and greater.
I got a few more good questions coming in just now. Andrew, yeah, David does buy his own lies. I figured that out just recently. Matthew Moore, do people in David's group curse people?
Yeah, of course, for sure.
Okay. And is underage grooming? Is there any underage grooming going on? Did you see anything like that?
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Okay. Okay, and as far as the cursing people, what kind of what happened there when people were cursed?
Yeah, if you they tell people if you leave, you're gonna go to hell. If you certain people, if you leave, you're gonna go to hell.
Or you're gonna die or get cancer and shit like that.
Yeah, they said Rick Fraser broke his legs because of DavidETaylor. They said another guy drowned in a lake because of DavidETaylor.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one. Yep.
Remember that?
Yep, I heard about that one.
So those are spiritual death threats. They make spiritual death threats against people.
Yeah, I've had actual, not spiritual death threats, but real death threats. Did you see the board in the call center of church enemies?
I remember now. They did curse people a lot. lot. Like they wanted to have like Earth-Offs, I think. Like they wanted to have like people to like swear death upon them and see who died first. Some weird stuff.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a peek here. Did you ever have any interaction with Michelle?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
What was she like? What was it short? Was it long? What was she like?
So she was friendly the first day, and then like the day after, like when like Jesus was supposedly on the stage, and then David got pissed off and he stormed out of the room. We were just all left on the stage for hours.
Why did he get mad?
Like,
was that when you didn't fall over and like all that stuff happened? That's
yeah, like I didn't fall over. I was just kind of like, it didn't look good for TV, I guess. But I was just up there kind of flailing around because I'm like, am I gonna get zapped by Jesus in a second? Like, what's gonna happen to me? And she talked to me the next day. Like it was kind of like, you know, like did you know what you were doing, sort of thing. Like, and then later she was like, telling me about the tanks. Like we're ready to fight tanks. She was like saying all these nasty things to me. Like I think I like fumbled my words when I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, you have a dumb spirit on you." She's like laughing at me, like really like
condescending.
No, it was like dark. It was like taking like pleasure in other people's suffering. Really.
Did anyone working there have a breakdown, or did you ever notice any like faces that just kind of disappeared overnight?
Yeah, so there was a few truck drivers that came through. There was one guy who one of his family members died, and he had to really bargain with them just to go see his family member's funeral down in Texas.
Okay.
And then after that, he had to really bargain with them, okay, I gotta go bury my family member, and then he never went back after that.
Okay.
But
let's
Alex, the mindset was he was it sticks with you for a while after you leave, because I told him about this way to donate to them online that they added. He's like, oh, thank you, I'm going to donate money to them. It sticks with you for a while. Deprogramming from that place, it takes a long time. The mindset, the mind viruses, I'm telling you, man, they go deep.
How does David actively suppress certain Facebook accounts? How do they do that?
I mean, they blocked my personal Facebook years ago, and they just block you. If they're losing a Facebook argument against you, they'll just block you.
Were you setting up fake accounts?
I wasn't, but people, when you get there, they want you to use your personal Facebook, and then you make other Facebooks. Facebook limits you to how many people you can message in a day.
Well, how many? What is it? Were you? Did you ever actually work on the computers or anything like that to do that part of what? That's the scam.
I think I made a few phone calls, but I really didn't want anything to do with it.
Oh, okay.
I was shuttling people around more. I was shuttling people around in my car and doing physical labor, stuff like that.
Okay. And you said you stayed at the building too, correct?
For a little while, not that long.
Okay. How long did you stay at the building? Did you move out of the building and get your own place? How did that situation work out?
So it was okay. So we've been talking for a minute. It was 2016, and I got there, I think, in mid-May for the Passover. I got there in time for the Passover conference, and I think that's May. It was still kind of cold, and I was kicked out of the building. I was only there in Michigan for the summer. It wasn't any longer than a summer, and I was kicked out of the building pretty quick. I might have got there in April. Got there in April.
Okay.
Sorry, but it was end of spring, and I was definitely gone from Michigan, before winter started.
How were?
I was only there for season.
How were you recruited?
Okay, so like I was doing some in-person recruiting. Like we were handing out flyers in like the mall. We got kicked out of the mall in Southgate, and we went to like the Walmart, and then we went to Love Detroit, and we were trying to pick people off of Love Detroit, which is like a unity event. So,
No, but you said
yeah.
you drove cross country basically to get into David's organization, right?
Yeah.
How were you recruited? What was their contact, or did you contact them?
I was on like YouTube rabbit holes, I think, and I saw something about like face-to-face encounters of Jesus Christ, which like that was that was a really good doctrine. Like it does say in the Gospels that Jesus will come visit people, and some of that's really good, but other people have these experiences, which is something they don't really tell you about. Is like if you go to like the historical Catholic Church to today, people are having experiences, whether you accept it as real or not. People are having face-to-face encounters with Jesus Christ. Like that's happening all over the place.
Right, but here's something I talk about with the pastor offline. If Jesus is going to do these face-to-face encounters, it's going to be on his own time. It's not going to be on these prophets and pastors that are to come down. Jesus is here, everybody. Because in actuality, the prophets and the apostles, they weren't out fucking preaching on stage and flying private jets and driving Bentleys and shit like that. They were actually back in the corner kind of like, hey, we're talking about this over here. You guys can come hear it if you want. You know, they weren't out standing on the stage, you know, fucking throwing their bullshit around.
No, there's so many people who again, like the bullshit that people are putting up with from DavidETaylor, and they're not even getting what they're promised spiritually or otherwise. That's why it's a big scam to me.
Okay.
Because people think he's the only game in town, and even for what he claims to be, it's not true.
What was the final question that got you kicked out? What was that final conversation like where they're like, hey, you gotta leave, you gotta go?
So yeah, it happened to be like the night of like that night it was like at midnight, and like my birthday had just started, and they just kind of did it like really low key, like, hey, yeah, you have to leave. I had to sleep. I was sleeping in my car after that, because people get there, and like people are like, I remember people saying that they were like sleeping in their car and stuff before they got there. I don't know if they're being vetted or what. Like I just kind of walked in when I got there because I think they were about to have a crusade. I don't know. I got in kind of quick, but when they kicked me out, I had to go sleep in my car, and they told people not to let me sleep in their house even.
Matthew Moore.
So like they just completely isolated me.
Matthew Moore, one of our good channel followers here, he's asking. He said it earlier too, and we'll ask again for sure. The 2-year shutaway. What do you make of that? It's hiding. He's in hiding. The 2-year shutaway.
He's in hiding.
Yeah.
If he was who he said he was, he would have had crusades against COVID, and that's what I'm saying. Rodney Howard-Browne, because he compares himself, Alex, to other people. Like he compares himself to Bethel, all these people. So okay, Rodney Howard-Browne was having church during COVID, and he was hiding away. He's afraid of a mass spreader event. So I'm saying for somebody in his cult, if Rodney Howard-Browne is doing that, Rodney Howard-Browne doesn't claim to be the best friend of Jesus Christ. He doesn't claim anything like that. Like DavidETaylor isn't who he claims to be. Not even close.
What do you make of they said Chris Comm, I think what they asked him to leave for is because he was asking too many questions.
They didn't really make it clear, Alex. They just kind of were like, yeah, you can't, like, it was kind of vague. They were just like, yeah, you gotta leave, like,
Okay.
until something like, if you're really sure you want to be part of this. It was kind of vague. That's how this stuff is. Like, there's a lot of, like, blurriness. They kind of make things vague on purpose.
I'm waiting for a question to come in from a lot of the people are saying he's hiding from the IRS. I absolutely agree. 100%. I file fraud against him once a week, guys. Yeah, Kid Frost.
So-
Basically, it's
so
almost
yeah.
like,
Sorry.
question. He brings up names of other high-profile ministers. Do they even endorse him? No, they do not. He Wah Wong. David, go ahead and tell them why they don't endorse David, my man. Why won't they endorse David?
It's fun. I remember he had a picture with Heidi Baker, who's one of my greatest inspirations as a Christian.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, she doesn't endorse him or anything. I remember him saying that he spoke at some event in, like, I think Korea,
Yep.
where, like, all the Korean pastors had their hair grow back, which I guess didn't happen for him because he definitely got surgery for that.
Yeah.
And I think he said that Heidi Baker came to hear him speak. I remember him saying something like that.
Okay.
But none of these people endorse him. I think he had, I saw someone mention Joel Osteen. Like, he'll speak well of Joel Osteen, you know, because he's kind of a contrarian. So he's like, oh yeah, Joel Osteen's cool. And he got Joel Osteen's worship pastor to come speak, or, what's his name? Hugh. Who's Joel Osteen's worship pastor? Basically, this guy had a moral failure, and Joel Osteen had to ask him to leave. And then DavidETaylor will go to people that have, like, moral failures, you know, and he acts like he's restoring them, but it's very, like, it's very Machiavellian what he's doing. Like, he's getting people after a moral failure. So he had Joel Osteen's old worship pastor come for one of his events, but that was, like, a one-time thing. I've never seen him again.
Did you ever meet David in person by chance?
I was in proximity to him. Like, I don't know. I never actually spoke to him one-on-one.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not personally.
Okay.
I was right there. Like, I was there. Like, I mean, I was, like, there for the sermon, and there was definitely, like, in my opinion, like he knew who I was, but I just, that guy really got under my skin because, again, like, he's not who he says he is, and either you come under, like, under his influence, or you really resist it. You know, it's like you either love him or hate him, and it's just like this guy is not who he says he is.
Now, based on were you when you got there, were you leaning? Was there the danger there for you to be sucked into this, or did you see all of the bullshit kind of from the get go?
I was testing it. You know, like, what
Okay.
does the Bible say? Like, be a Berean. You know, like in the Bible, the Bereans ask questions, but I guess they didn't like that. And the person was Israel Houghton. He had Israel Houghton for one of his events because I think Israel Houghton had a moral failure, which is fine. Like, people have moral failures, but it was like DavidETaylor, like, he, like, preyed upon that. He's like, okay, I got him. He had a moral failure. Now I'm gonna recruit him. And it's different from like someone like DavidETaylor has repeated moral failures, like repeated, you know, and he, like, just keeps doing it.
Yeah, they don't like questions. Kid Frost brought up a good point. Cults don't like questions, especially cult leaders like David. You can't be smarter or funnier or have higher cholesterol than DavidETaylor, or else that's not good.
Higher cholesterol. That's gonna be hard to beat him in that regard.
Well, the thing is he's sick, dude. He's sick. Oh, our follower from Ireland, dude. She was the one that called it out, my man. She was the one. She emailed me. She said, "Dude, that guy's fucking sick," and that was from last year, right? Remember when he went into Shutaway?
Yeah.
And
People were worried while I was there. People who were at the building were like, "Yeah, he needs to watch his health."
okay, so they were already concerned back in 2016 about his health.
Back in 2016, yeah.
Was he eating like a fucking slob? I'm guessing he was.
He would always joke about liking Krispy Kreme donuts.
He probably eats a fucking 2 dozen a day. He probably eats burgers with donuts. He makes a donut. He makes the donut bun. Like, he takes 2 donuts and that's what he makes his burger on, is the donut.
So if you're gonna be the 5-star general, Jesus Christ, like he's like, I'm a warrior.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior. And you know, your health is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, how am I gonna really respect you and follow you? If I want to believe this. Like, I want somebody to actually be the best friend of Jesus Christ. That would be great.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody has Kratos powers and you have the power over protons. You can like telepathically and telekinetically move. I wish that was true. I wish it was true, but it's not. It's not true.
What about? I think another question here. Let's see here. Do all the blondes become?
Remember the Kratos? You talk about Kratos power, like God of War. You know.
Yeah,
like,
Kratos power. I've heard him talk about Doom's power too. It's like power, David. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I had to look up Doom's because I didn't know what it meant. It's power, and he's talking about Doom's power. It's like power. It's like the same thing as international global. The fuck.
So I've been slain in the spirit for real. Like just at a nobody church service. Like nobody knows who these people are.
Yeah.
And I was lying on the floor for an hour. I was slain in the spirit of the Catholic Church. Okay? But DavidETaylor security guards had to slam my ass in the seat. Like whatever he tried to do to me didn't work.
Do all the blondes become blondes because David tells them to? Or does Michelle act as madam and tells her girls that to get David in good graces they must submit to him? Hang on. Is it like a Jeffrey Epstein and a Ghislaine Maxwell type situation where Michelle is grooming the women to the likes of David?
I don't know, man. Like
You didn't see that part.
Like, look, Larry Reid Live covered this pretty extensively. He's not that great in bed. Like this is all covered by Larry Reid Live pretty extensively.
Yeah. And David and Kid Frost.
All the sexual stuff.
They're not paid for subscribers either. That's the cool thing about it. They're not paid for views. So you definitely saw David was sleeping around. There was definitely drug use. There was definitely abuse. There was definitely a huge scam going on. There's definitely money laundering. There's definitely EBT fraud going on because you helped people get it. Like you took people there to get it. What else would you say was going on there?
They weren't going to eat otherwise, Alex. People weren't eating. If it weren't for the EBT, they weren't going to eat.
So nobody's getting paid there. Proof. Forced labor, guys. Forced labor. Would you call it like a labor cult?
Yeah, I guess you could.
Forced labor? Like it's like, hey, basically if you don't work you're not gonna eat kind of thing.
There was like part-time people, but again, like someone, so like DavidETaylor took a picture with someone like Heidi Baker, or any, like in this world, you don't have a plan B. Like if you have faith, if you're being faithful, your plan A is DavidETaylor. So it's not like overt, it's not explicit, but it's like if people were to leave DavidETaylor, they don't really have anywhere else to go.
Okay.
If they do have a plan B, then they're lukewarm. Like that's the whole psychology. If you have a plan B, if you have an escape strategy, then you're already lukewarm. You know, and like God's not going to bless you.
So at that point,
like,
that's the point they consider you a lukewarm Christian when you start asking questions and you go off David E. Taylor's revelation.
Yeah.
Wow. So they just want you to put blinders on and follow David E. Taylor, and that's it. You can't look outside of this right here, guys. It's like blinders. This is all they want you to see.
Yeah.
That's it.
Correct.
This is real shit, guys. This is a survivor of JMMI. Okay. And we say they're there about 6 months, my man.
No, I mean, I got there like late spring, and I left before summer was over. Like I was only there for, like I was only physically there for, you know, like maybe a couple months. Like I was in Michigan trying to find a place to stay. But again, like this is very psychological. It's a lot of like mind control shit. Like I can't, like people are into this long distance, you know, like including like Vicky Yohe, any people. Like he has a way of getting inside of people's heads that cannot be downplayed. Like just because you're not physically there doesn't mean that he's not living in your head. Okay.
He lives in my head, guys. He's in my fucking head, just like I'm in his head.
Yeah, it's like Harry Potter and Voldemort, right? Your Horcruxes for each other.
Yeah. What do you think about the 4 different name changes? What do you make of that, my man? What do you make of all that bullshit?
I know one of them for the church, because I went
Mm-hmm.
But I know like there's a church, and then there's like the ministry, which is different from a church,
Okay.
and it's all just a bunch of like money laundering. It's a bunch of, you know, it's all bullshit for the money laundering and stuff
Yep.
like that.
It really is. It's a huge money laundering operation. It really is.
I mean, there's people that want churches to be taxed. Like just being a church alone, you're evading taxes.
It's not a church. Dude. I'd stop calling it a church because it's a fucking cult, man. There is nothing church-like about this church, this cult. Okay, that it falls under all the dynamics of a full-blown. It's turning into a Jim Jones type cult, you guys.
Yeah, I have the text message. I'll send them to you. She said we're ready for tanks. That was
Good.
like,
Guess what?
that was like,
Email those to
Yeah.
me. Guess what, Michelle? What those text messages? I have them now. I have them now. Okay.
she's ready for tanks and missiles. That's what she said. She's ready. And that like David Taylor's gonna fight them all. It was insane, man. Like I don't know. It was mind blowing.
Do you think David's on drugs?
I mean that's what I've heard. Like
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
How many people were attending the church regularly while you were there?
Like less than 100.
Less than 100? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man. You guys got any more questions for Tom here, you guys?
Like we get like they would have events and the camera angles for some of them would be like if you knew that there was only like 50 to 100 people at an event and you realize like they're just filming the same like little handful of people over and over again.
Yep.
And yeah, like the way they set up the building, you know, like they have a way to make it look like the back wall could be pushed backwards or forward. But you know, that's just TV for you. But
Yeah.
yeah, you start to see like the stuff they do to do their like TV magic there.
Yeah. Anne says, Anne from Ireland says, thank you for being brave and honest tonight. And really, yeah, dude, thank you. Because you know what balls this takes to fucking come out here and stand up and speak your voice to a group of people you don't even know that more people are going to hear eventually. And they're going to hear your story. And you're going to open up people's eyes, my man.
I hope so. It's not been easy. It like I'm cutting up now and I'm laughing about it, but this has been years. And the first time around, they attacked me very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And like I lost Alex. I lost family members. Like I lost friends to join this thing the first time. Like when people saw me posting David Taylor stuff, I lost a lot of people's friendships, respect. I lost a lot of stuff just to join this thing, to even support it at all.
How can we?
They don't care.
How can we help people get out? In your opinion, getting out that how you got out. What's the best way? What's the best way we can fight this cult? How can we get these people out?
Well, I think Alex, what you're doing is I just got on with my life at some point. Like I recovered, you know, like but what you're doing is really important. I think people should support you. You know, I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with like, you know, like supporting like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, like you're doing real work here that's saving people hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. Like hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars of damage has really been done. And so for you, like for people to support you financially, like you're doing real work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not wrong to be supported financially. What's wrong is, you know, like the fraud and the scamming and people's like life, like their inheritances, people's inheritances being, you know, like scammed out of them. Like, but for actually like some kind of financial compensation for what you're doing, I think you should get that.
No, but for
I
the,
think what you're doing is,
I think what people are more curious about, and I appreciate you on that for sure. And what I do with this stuff, dude, I give half of that shit to the survivors, guys. That's part of my plan on the channel. Like, I'm going to keep some of it for sure. But I'm going to give some to the survivors because I don't feel like sitting here and extorting what happened to them. off of David. Like, I'm using David's shit against him and gonna pay his survivors. You know, so it's for them. What do they need? What do they need? Here's a good question. What do they need in order to exit?
Well, I think, like, I hope what I'm saying helps somebody that, like the mind, to understand what their mindset was, which I think I do, because I really listened and wanted it to be true, and just to, like, sit down and compare, like, this is what David Taylor said, this is what's actually happening, these are other people that are, you know, like, because people who joined, they're willing to literally die, you know, for God. A lot of these people, you know, there's a part of them, Alex, that's really honest to God, willing to die for Jesus Christ. Like, you know, are they, like, and they are dying, like they're dying just in a really pitiful, pathetic way. Okay, and I feel bad for them, you know, and that's
like being told to stop taking life necessary medication.
Yeah, I'm sure some of that happens. Like people stop taking care of their health. They're just like, well, the Lord will take care of me. That kind of stuff happens.
Yep. Wong brought up a good
like,
a good reason. Like,
yeah,
it's the thing is we can't tell people they're in a cult, Wong. But yeah, we need to reassure them. That's why we're here. That's why I put this channel out, us to assure them, because you're right. People stay as a choice. You're absolutely right. Freedom of religion in America, but we need to open their eyes to the man behind the curtain and let them know this guy just spilled a story right here to us this whole live. Everything that's going on in here, guys. Everything. This guy just spilled a story to us right here. This is a cult.
yeah.
Is this a cult, dude?
Easy,
Is this a cult?
100%.
Somebody, ex-member from David's place. Cult.
Like other people. So it's like there's been. If you study like the Catholic Church, I'm a religion man. I majored in religion too.
Yeah.
Like I have my degree in religion from a secular university, not Liberty University, a secular. I'm from University of Florida, okay, which is a pretty darn good university. Like go Gators. And I had a religion degree before I went there, you know. And so if you study like the Catholic Church, there's all kinds of stories of people with stuff David Taylor talks about, because he lists a lot of his stories. So people need to know, like, okay, like other people have had these experiences that David Taylor talks about, and today there's all kinds of people. I like someone called Justin Paul Abraham.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, people like someone different. Like there's all kinds of, but Justin Paul Abraham is a modern mystic who has all the same kinds of stories as David Taylor, but he doesn't ask for all sorts of money, and he doesn't bang, like David Taylor bangs your wife. Justin Paul Abraham doesn't bang people's wives,
Yep.
as far as I know.
Yep.
You know, like, so to me, it's like these people were willing to give up everything to seek Jesus Christ, and I just would want them to know, like, David Taylor is not the only game in town. He's not giving you what he promised you, and there's all sorts of people living and in the past who've had what he's had and more.
How long do you think David will stay in Shutaway for?
I don't know. I don't care. Like again, only because you're doing this channel that I'm calling in, because for most of us, we just have to like move on. That life goes on. Like David Taylor is not gonna, like God's not gonna come down with the cloud, man. You know, and life goes on. Like there's so many cults like this, and you just realize like life goes on. It sucks. I mean, I still think Jesus is real. Like I think we've talked about, you know, like people seek Jesus in different ways.
Yep.
But you just have to. I've had to go on, and like I was reminded by you doing this channel. This is important work, and there's people who are still like fucking people like Eli gave up a baseball scholarship, you know, and like what do you have after that? Like people are stuck in there, and I feel bad for them.
Well,
they're stuck. And they have nowhere else to go.
Ted Cruz with the Top Down brought up a good point the other night in the chat that David's trying to run a full-blown like college diploma mill scam with his fake school.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like apocryphal books, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
like you're gonna read the Book of Enoch and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the money, like that's the money making thing.
Yeah, it's as part of his money scheme to grab money, to get money into his cult. Man. Wow. Okay. What else you got to add, man? Dude, this is rad. Everybody says bombshell interview. People are saying, hey, this is the best interview since Larry Reed. So thank you for coming on here and sharing your story with everybody, dude. You know, we've talked offline. I've talked to Tom offline, but never this in depth before, guys. You know, you guys are coming up with questions that I never thought of, and you know, we're putting them in my guy's ear here. And you guys, this is firsthand account, man.
No, like Alex, I think you guys. I wanted to do this, but 6 years ago when I left DavidETaylor, I was living out of my car.
No energy.
I gave up everything to be there. You know, like I was giving up everything to seek Jesus like these other people. So I didn't have the ability to live stream like you.
Yeah.
So, like this stuff, I just had to put it on the back burner to talk about the stuff I saw. And
once I get a different setup, I'm gonna start paneling people. And whenever you're ready to come on panel and show face and put a face on this and just tell David that he's a piece of shit, you're welcome to.
Yeah, like I think they know who I am. Like I was after I left there, DavidETaylor, like his first wife, came out with some videos.
Okay.
Which I mean, she has a ton of. That's his first wife going back like decades. You know. And,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that she has all. I saw his daughter. He has a daughter named Destiny. She was posting stuff on Facebook about what, you know, like, I mean, it goes deep.
Yeah.
It goes really deep.
What kind of harassment? I just got a question. What kind of harassment did you deal with after you left?
People, you know, like, you're going to hell. Like, people, they try to make me out to be mentally ill. You know, they're like, oh, you're mentally ill. And so I've taken a lot of attacks like that, like, oh, you're mentally ill, and
Would they ever call you and things like that, like verbally harass you on the phone, email you, things like that?
Michelle, Michelle, they mostly blocked me because I would eventually beat them in like a debate. They just kind of blocked me, and yeah, if they're losing in a one-on-one debate with you, they'll just block you.
Okay. Yeah, they don't like questions. You got anything else to add, man? We're going on almost 2 hours now. I want to go ahead and start wrapping it up. It's going on 9 o'clock.
No, that's okay. Like, I'm gonna get something to eat here.
Okay.
No, thank you so much, Alex. You have no idea, like, in a way, like, this I've been carrying this for 6 years, and there's probably more I could say, but, I mean, there's other survivors that, you know, they need to hear this, they need to start talking. I have other people, I think it's just the beginning, you know, like, again, I kind of put this on the back burner, and only because you started doing this, you know, am I picking it up again, but I think it's really important work that needs to be done, and not just DavidETaylor, like, it sounds like, you know, these other people, there needs to be oversight with all this religious cult bullshit going on.
Lone Star 131, one of my boys on the channel, he wants to know how you're doing now.
I'm doing a lot better, like, and I can say for sure I'm happy that I'm not there.
Okay.
I'm happy I didn't spend the past 6 years at DavidETaylor. That's for sure. I'm not living in my fucking car like I was when they kicked me out of there.
So you got like a roof over your head.
It was hard.
Are you working and stuff like
I got
that?
a roof over my head.
Okay, good.
I'm making money. But yeah, when I first left, yeah, it was hard. It was really hard.
But see what happens when you leave David E. Taylor's fucking bullshit cult? You end up with a success story like this man right here, guys. Can't lie about it.
Yeah, I mean, I could brag certain ways. I don't want to brag too much. I mean, in some ways, I'm actually doing really well, including financially.
That's good.
But
That's good.
I don't, you know, who knows what these maniacs are going to be up to, so I want to be careful what I say.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get going so you could do your thing. Tom, thanks for calling in. You have my phone number. You fucking call me any fucking time you want, dude.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.
All right, good night, man. Bye. All right. So, you guys, thank you for all your fucking questions and monitoring the chat, too. I want to thank you guys. Wow, man. Wow. Let me digest that for a minute. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Oh, shit. Yeah, David, happy fucking birthday to you, dude. We can't make this shit up, guys. This is why we do this. This is why we're here. This is why I do this. This is why we discuss this. Yeah, you hear how people do, they give up everything to go do this, man. Yeah, man. Like, people give up everything. People give up everything to go be in this fucking sack of shit, dude. To go be with this piece of shit, David E. Taylor. Right? Everybody goes in here.
That's right, I said.
To fucking be with this piece of shit, David.
Don't call him David.
There is trafficking going on here, guys. There is human trafficking going on here. That alone should constitute a fucking bust, in my opinion. Financial crimes. Usually when you're doing financial crimes, you're gonna most likely get involved with some other fucking shady people doing fucking crimes. Yeah, I need to get those texts from Michelle. Yeah, let me get those real quick. Yeah. Stand by, guys. Stand by. Hang on. Okay. All right. Real shit, guys. Fuck, real shit. Yeah, real shit. Real shit. Yeah. You see what these people are capable of, man. You see what these people are capable of, the route they'll go, what they'll do. Man, there's a real fucking problem here, man. I definitely see some sexual trafficking going on now. Man. Yeah, well, JMMI is a revoked tax ID number, Chris Com. It's a revoked tax ID number. So it's like he can't file taxes against that number anymore, dude. It would be illegal for him to even fucking take donations off of it. I was just on a phone interview for the last, I don't know, hour and a half. Derek. I don't think he will leave the U.S. I don't think he will. Where's he gonna go? Man. What do you guys make of it, man? Let's get your guys' input. Let's see some chats. That was pretty intense, man. That was pretty intense. Yeah, no one wants him. The whole world knows where the fuck who he is. Yeah, it's happened with other cults. They'll leave. Why not? Go to a non-extradited country. Nobody could fucking miss that fucking forehead. David would have to change his fucking hairline and his forehead and everything. David would just have to shave his head probably. But he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want anybody to see the fucking pack of hot dogs on the back of his fucking neck. Yes, big shout out to you, Tom, for seeing it earlier than later, my man. Fuck yeah. That's the good thing about it. He saw the spiritual abuse going on earlier than later, and he was able to say, yeah, this guy's a fucking lunatic. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Struggled a little bit because, again, he told us, guys, he gave up everything to come be in the cult, you know? Then, just, you guys heard it, man. Yep. Nope, he won't, Ann. He's still sick. He had to come out and say, I don't know if anybody saw the video where he's like, bye-bye. He was like being real fucking lotion-ass soft voice about it. That was best. Ah, here it is. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, thanks to the guy for calling. Thanks to the guest. He was the one who gave the interview. Thank the guest, dude. Don't thank me, thank the guest. He was the one who volunteered his time to come in and talk about his experience with the cult when he didn't have to. Don't thank me, thank him. Thank Tom. He was the one who came in and spent time.
I want to pray over it. Okay? So I want you to know I love you and I appreciate you. Till next time.
Listen. You can't even hear him say, he's like, bye-bye. Like a little fucking pansy ass that he actually is, right? Yeah, he's very informative, man. Yep. Good interview, man. I like hearing the interviews, dude. I like hearing people talk their experiences because, again, every time somebody calls in and gives a little piece of this information, right, this is documented now. And again, I'm going to have to figure out how to archive it, no doubt. It's a 2-hour video, so I'm going to have to definitely screen record it probably overnight, yeah. But, man, yeah, they kick you out, those that can't control. Yep, you guys are all right. I mean, thank you guys for all your questions because you guys had a lot of spot-on questions. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of them. I think we covered quite a bit, a lot, though. We covered a lot of the dynamics of how things run in that cult, man. And it's very shitty, and it's very shady, and it's very dark and fucking destructive. Proof. So, Tom, thank you. Yeah, just a year ago, now he's like, bye-bye.
I'm gonna stay in Shadoway for another year because God told me I need to stay in Shadoway. I love you, my friends. Bye-bye.
Chris Com, yes, one of my other contacts said that eyes on down there, all those people are stuck in a routine. And I do too. I do too. I feel really bad for those people. I feel really bad for them because I know what's going on down there. And it's shitty. Shitty. There's no oversight here. Yep. Michelle is dark and demonic. She is. Michelle's dark. She's got a dark heart. She's got a dark soul. Sure she didn't at one time, but if she didn't, it is now. That's for sure. She really is, man. Yeah. David. I don't even know what to think now, really, after hearing everything tonight. It's a lot to digest at one time. I'm glad you guys were here to digest it with we were here to digest it together. But I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the live there. And yeah, David's a fucking homophobe. Yeah, but he's also probably a closet homosexual. We don't know that, but I'm guessing he is. The way George Scott The way George Scott is talking about him, it sure does sound like there's some kind of twisted love triangle going on inside that cult between George Scott, Joseph, and David. Like they're in the closet about something. Michelle Maxwell, goddamn right. Ghislaine Brannon. Ghislaine Brannon and David Epstein. Or what was it? Michelle Ghislaine? Or yeah, Ghislaine Brannon. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna end live. I want to cut it off here, so I'll keep posted up and shit, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna cut the live here. Again, keep in touch. I got stuff set up on my channel. If you guys want to talk offline, you can email me, Google text, whatever. That is for cult members. If you've listened to the interview tonight, listen to what that guy said. It's okay to think for yourself. Okay, question authority, question David, question his teachings, question his ways. Michelle Maxwell. Yep. Michelle Maxwell and David Epstein. You need to question David Epstein and Michelle Maxwell. Michelle, what is it? Michelle Maxwell? Ghislaine Brannon? I like Ghislaine Brannon. But you guys stay safe, man. Have a good week. Again, this was kind of a special live Sunday. I wanted to do more about how David's just kind of going into shutaway and hiding and we're not going to see him anymore. But that's probably where we're at with David right now, man. We're not going to see much of him. He's got George Scott coming out, doing his fucking fluffing for him and boosting up David and doing all this shit for him. But I'm pretty sure we're kind of seeing the downfall of this cult. I urge everybody to fucking file fraud against these assholes. That's the only way it's going to stop, guys. We have to get them legally through the IRS, okay? Once the IRS picks it up, a whole lot of other really cool agencies are no doubt going to pick that up, okay? Once the IRS picks that up, I'm sure they're going to funnel that around to all these little ABC government agencies and shit like that. And somebody's going to fucking pick that shit up. They'll be like, yeah, this is going to fucking break this guy's door down now. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Happy Sunday. I'll see you guys Friday.